Come and take a class at the Alteration.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another great episode of Alter Academy. Today I have with us a special bonus episode with JDRR, who wanted to update the Blurple list he showcased off last week due to some shifts in the current meta. So JDRR, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me again, as always.
Yeah, and so let's just jump right into it. Obviously, you were here just a short time ago, but why do you want to come back and just have some updates?
Well, I think the first time I was on, the meta was like so raw, like nothing was really established. Even the list that I sent and used was like outdated. Like literally the day we recorded it, the next day it was kind of outdated already. So it was just like, so there was that. And then also since then, like there's like been two developments in the Blurple world, right? Like you have the elephant version with like second star, like the more control heavy build, which has been doing really well in tournaments.
Yeah.
And then there's also, like myself, Tyler, Wancho, some other people have been working on another build, which is like a more tempo oriented build than a control build. So like what some people kind of compared to is like, you know how in set 6, DKP came out with his list, and then there's like Sisu and Ice. Like it's a very control versus tempo build, and that's like kind of like where this list kind of mimics closely. It's like a more tempo build compared to the more control build, because we found that against good Amber Steel players, like you found it yourself too when you were playing Sky, right?
Yeah.
Even if you're playing Elephant and it one drops, like if you don't see the absolute perfect hand, like you are just done, right? It's like it's really not that great of a matchup. So that's when we were like, you know, if it's still a coin flip at the end of the day against Amber Steel, like if you're on the play, you probably win more than likely, and if you're on the draw, you're probably like instantly losing. And then what we saw was that with more one drops and elephants, you lose to greedier Blurple lists because they don't play as many one drops, so they top deck better than you. You lose to green blue, or your percentage against green blue is worse because same thing, you top deck worse, you know, too many one drops, so they can usually out top deck you. So that's why we're just like, all right, fine. In order to counter this, we're like, we probably do need to change up the list a little bit. So here we have this version, which is much more proactive in that sense. Like a lot of two questers. Not as heavy on the control side because we are playing more two questers, and less one drops. So like less things that are bad to top deck into, and more things that you don't mind playing off the top, because this deck thrives in a very I guess limited resource kind of game where like both players are top decking, and this is a deck that wants to be in the top deck mode against your opponents. So like it's very similar to a dock deck, right? Like where you kind of live and die by the top of your deck. This deck's kind of the same way in that sense, and I get not everyone likes playing it that way, but we found like pretty good success this way as well.
Yeah, and I remember I was at Baltimore casting the inking tournament, interviewing people, and I was interviewing Batsu, who was playing a deck very similar to this list, and then like immediately after the interview, you messaged me and you're like, I want to come back. I want to come showcase a list very similar to that. And so I was
Tyler and I were working on this. Leading up to the inking, right? We were working on the list, trying to like refine it further. Still wasn't like, we didn't really love it at the time out of inking. Like we still knew like, okay, we are throwing the aggro matchup.
And he actually won it. He beat the Dave, who ended up winning the whole tournament.
Yeah, I think Tyler went 1-1 against Eversteel that tournament. And he beat every Blurple except for in top cut when he missed ramp. So that was kind of unfortunate. But otherwise, I think he went like 6-1 into Blurple.
So great run.
Right, so that's like, we're just like, we're just gonna build a deck to beat all the blue decks, and then like 50-50 with purple steel, kind of depending who draws better, and then just if we win the coin flip, hey, we're fine. If not, then we lose. Just kind of accept it. So
and that's sort of the kind of gambles you have to take in like big tournaments and long-winded tournaments like that, when you know you're going to be playing Blurple all the time, and you can kind of avoid certain decks. Like it's worth it to do that. But let's get into some simulations here. And we'll start, as we always do here at Alter Academy, with Blind on the Play.
So our original version of this deck also has 16 uninkables. We have cut that down a little bit to add some other things into the deck to make space for. But either way, like similar to the last time I was on, the mulligan does need to be a little bit more on the conservative side, unless you don't see ramp like this hand. So like this hand, we're just sending 7.
Yep, I remember this well. Oh god.
And this is just bad.
Yeah.
You don't hit ramp, it is what it is.
We lose this game probably, especially because
That
we're
is
on the play.
kind of the gamble you play with blue decks, right?
Yeah. All right. So
yeah.
On the draw blind, much better.
Much better. Here, I'm just sending the Hades back. Because now, like, you can choose here. Like, we're definitely going to go Basil, whether it's Basil turn 1 or, we're on the draw, so most likely Basil will come out turn 1, depending what the opponent is, like, especially with a faster deck. If they don't play anything turn 1, you can definitely sail into Basil on turn 2 if you needed to. And then this way you can decide, like, if you are going to go Scrooge on turn 3. So ideally, like, into Steel decks, Scrooge on turn 3 is pretty solid. Like, obviously, if they hit 5 characters and strength your Scrooge, like, you're kind of sad.
Yeah, it's like,
right?
It's an auto loss. Like, I actually talk about this in my Ember Steel guide, where if they go Scrooge and we have the setup where... we have that 5 characters, like, it's just a free win to strength it. But it's also rare, and you have to kind of set it up correctly, so it's not, like, the end-all be-all, so don't be afraid to play Scrooge, I'd say. But, like, if the Ember Steel has the option, they're gonna, like, make sure that they can get 5 characters out.
Yeah. Which is the whole reason why, like, Elephant and, like, there was a period of time where people were testing that 3/6 vanilla characters, like Mouse Queen and things like that, because that like we found that if you're, if the 4-drop like dies to strength, like you just lose the game, right?
Yeah.
So then so like if it is Steel, you can go as Scrooge, and then if it's the Mirror and they go like Genie on 3, you can definitely just go Iago on 3. Because if you on the draw, if you go Basil into Iago, and they just go ramp into Genie, they have a very awkward turn, because if they Elsa you and hit your Basil, well, it opens them up to an Elsa, right?
Yep.
In your hand. Or the Iago's already free, right? So use Elsa, Iago to start hitting things. If they Hypnotic Strength your Iago and pass, well, you still have Basil on the board to Elsa and tap down the Genie and hit it.
Yep.
Right, so that's like a very strong on the draw line into the Mirror here if we do hit the Mirror. And then the Dumbo is just like ink, probably, because there's too many uninkables. Like, there's no point sending it back.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. So let's alter, see what we get here, and we do get a Genie.
A little unfortunate that you have two uninkables, so you have to navigate a little bit more carefully here, but you should be fine.
Yep. Much better than the first hand. All right.
Yeah, for sure.
While we've been talking about Amber Steel, let's do an Amber Steel on the play here. Oh, I know where this one's going.
If it's Amber Steel, if I know it's Amber Steel on the play, I'm definitely going to mulligan more aggressively to look for the things I actually need, right? So I'm keeping Tipo and Elsa and just shipping everything else here. Because, like, I want something stronger. Like, you can make an argument to keep the Genie because you have the Tipo, you can just ink it, right?
Yeah.
But ideally, I want Scrooge in this version or Elephant in the other one. Oh, so there you go. So now the only thing I'm looking for is, like, Into the Unknown, and hopefully I draw into it.
Yeah, you need that Into the Unknown so bad.
Yep.
All right, let's do Amber Steel on the draw now.
This looks like a full keep, most likely, because I have the Scrooge, I have Ramp, I have Into the Unknown, I have Elsa. There's not much else I really need here.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like, the only other thing that you can say is, like, I want the Basil turn 1. That's probably the only other thing that I would say we really want here.
Yeah.
But with the only 4 like, you can send the Whale back, sure. And you can send the Sail back. Like, if you're trying to, like, really be aggressive looking for, like, okay, if this was game 3 and it's like 1-1, I'm on the draw against Amber Steel, I might actually send back the Whale and the Sail just because I really want to not lose, right, in game 3. But if this was, game 1 on the draw or whatever, game 2 I want on the play, like, I'll probably be a little bit safer because I don't want to run into, like, uninkable issues here.
Yeah, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think a lot of people don't think about that too when they're altering, where if you have a good curve and good hand, like, and you're sending, and obviously, like, Monstro is not a card you want in your opening hand, but, like, there's not much that this hand needs, and so a lot of people, like, aggressively send cards that they don't need in the early game, and there's a higher risk to make their hand unplayable than there is to get the one card that could make it better. And so there's a lot of risk assessment that newer players forget to do, and it's always good to just kind of do that. So we'll go ahead.
Yeah,
and,
well, like if you look at this hand though, right? There's 13 uninkables left in the deck, right? And there's only 4 1-drops in the deck in this version, so it's like which one has the higher odds, right? Kind of to add to your point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I think we're good here. So let's go ahead and see what we don't get, because we're altering 0. All right, let's go into the mirror match of Blurple on the play, which we are going to obviously see in pretty much every tournament we'll play in.
I'm just keeping everything here. So like there's obviously things like I would want, like Elsa, things of that nature, but like there's just so many things I can just ink freely here. And with the temple version in the mirror, going Genie into Donald just to put more 2-questers ramp ahead of your opponent.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to turn 5 on 7 ink and your opponent's still on 5, that's like a huge advantage, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So in this version, like Donald is kind of like the glue to the deck, just because you don't really want to ink the good cards in your hand. So you really just want to use Donald to ink off the top of your deck, so that you don't have to ink the good cards in your hand.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right. We're at a lot of 7s and 0s so far.
It's just like last time.
Yeah. Let's do Blurple on the draw now.
On the draw here, this kind of sucks. Like, what I really want is what we had earlier. We had a Basil, we had an Iago into an Elsa, things like that.
Yeah.
But like, it's the same issue, right? Like, if you send too many things away, you're gonna risk bricking, potentially. But like, this hand is really bad on the draw against Blurple. Like, even if you keep everything and you have the inkables, you probably still lose here.
Yeah.
So I think I'm sending Genie back. I'm probably sending, well, 1 Genie. I think I'll keep 1. Yeah, I'll keep 1 in case. And then I'm sending the Finders and the Dumbos back here. Perfect. Because like, if I know it's the mirror and I open this hand, I'm losing anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to mulligan a bit harder here.
Yeah, and then this is a nice curve that we're left with, and then we have just room to improve. So let's see if we do improve. And we more than improve here. I think that's like the perfect cards.
This is perfect. Yeah. Yeah, and like I think the other thing to add is that a lot of people will like mulligan like they're blind, even though they're no longer blind in certain matchups. So like in that case right there, right? If you're on the draw, you get an extra card. Like you can take that slightly more of a risk,
right,
in your mulligan, because you do get the extra card, right? If you're on the play, like it's super risky, I get it. But on the draw, like you just have, like on the draw, you have to see what you need to see.
Yeah.
Right, like your Elsas and stuff. And if you just don't, like you've played the deck enough. If you don't, you just like, it's so hard to win on the draw. On the play, if you don't see Elsa, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Emerald Sapphire on the play now.
Okay. Here I am sending Helping Hand and Genie.
Dang, you're so
quick. Into how many mulligans I've done in the first deck. The reason why I want to do this is because I don't want any uninkables in my hand against green blue.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to give them Clarabelle value. I want a very flexible hand to be able to like to lower my hand size and empty it as quickly as possible. So I really don't want all these like uninkables kind of clogging up my hand. Like especially if they go like, you know, sing Mother Knows Best, bounce the uninkable back to your hand, and then they go Clarabelle. Like that uninkable is just stuck in your hand forever. Yeah. And they're just gonna get so much value off of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why here I'm just like, yeah, and I have the curve and ramp, so it's just like everything else is kind of good, kind of nice, right?
Right.
Yeah. And like the Iago is also still very awkward for them.
Yeah, that it is. I was just actually about to bring that up.
Right, if you go Elsa and Iago and Elsa, it's very awkward for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we get here. We love getting that Basil off of our altars, which is very nice. Also, this
Yeah.
Monstro, very good card versus Emerald Sapphire, in my opinion.
I've been saying this for a month that you cannot cut the whale from your deck because green blue is gonna absolutely destroy you without this card in your deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think people are realizing that now. That like that's the other reason why it's doing so well against Blurple, apart from the 1-drops and stuff like that, is that the lists weren't really running Monstros, and they had a lot of like high cost on Inkables, right? So like we were talking about earlier, it kind of gets stuck, and you just give so much Clarabelle value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but like this Monstro, I'm holding forever.
right. Because you need that like once they start turning sideways, and then worst case you can just like discard cards for fun. Not that that's a good play, but if you really wanted to.
Well, you see, the other thing is that they play the 4-cost, the green Donald that draws you cards.
Yeah.
And oftentimes they like you're welcome you and you have more cards in your hand. So like in this matchup specifically, you usually have a lot of cards to Monstro off of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's do Emerald Sapphire on the draw now.
Oof. The genie's got to go.
Both?
Both genies.
Okay.
Both genies, yeah. Like, I have to keep the Scrooge here because I still need the curve. And Scrooge is probably the best 4-drop against them on the draw because it is like a very strong body they can't get rid of without a song.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and like the Donald here is very good for us because we can just ramp to 7. So like we were talking about earlier, like this is the deck that I want to play off the top, and playing off the top against green blue is how you do it, right?
Right.
To lower your hand and just top deck better than them.
Yeah. All right. Well,
So.
let's see what we get here. Okay.
Oh my goodness, it is so good.
Yeah.
Your hand's gonna be empty with 8 ink or 7 ink. This is great.
Yeah, we like that. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, for the last one of the day, let's do Amethyst Steel on the draw.
On the draw. Oh, this is ugly.
Yeah, I know where we're going.
Where are we going?
We're going pretty much that
I'm
we
keeping
could,
Elsa,
we could,
though.
Okay, you want to keep the Elsa?
I'm keeping Elsa.
I was thinking we could keep Iago too, but we're against Amethyst Steel, so never mind.
Yeah, they're going to strength you anyway. So there's an argument to be had, right? Some people are just like, no matter the 4-drop you play, if they have, 4 or 5 bodies on the board, they're going to strength you anyway.
Yeah.
So like, whether it's Iago or not, it's dead. But there's a chance that it doesn't have an Iago. So like, you can hold Iago because Inkable. I'm fine with that here.
Yeah.
And hope you hit another 4-drop. Wait, sorry, did you say on the play here?
We're on the draw.
We're on the draw. Okay, yeah, I still think it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we get.
That's all right. Because like what I like to do against my own deck, obviously, is to go if you have an Iago and another 3-drop, there's 4-drop, sorry, you just play the 4-drop first, and then they strength you, and then you play Iago right after because they probably don't have a second strength.
Right. Yeah.
And then you're probably fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Iago's always the best like 3rd or 4th character.
Yep. Exactly.
All right.
That's fine.
Perfect. Well, this was a nice quick one here just to get a nice refresher with the updated Blurple list. So I appreciate you coming out. Is there any last words you want to say before we get out of here?
Like nothing, not really. I think just the usual shout outs. So shout out to SLTC as usual for always innovating. Shout out to Flower Farm for always supporting me so that we, so I can do what I'm doing. Also, the shout out to Wancho, who is the original person who came up with this bill with Helping Hand and all that.
Yeah.
It was definitely like kind of like way off, and people were just like, whoa, like hold on, like this doesn't look right. Like how can this kind of win? But after playing it for a while, like I could definitely see like the merits to it.
Yeah.
And same as the elephant build, right? Like both are very good builds in their own right, and I think it's just very meta dependent, like what the field is depending which one you bring. So I think the main thing for most people I would advise is like, in order to grow and get better as a player, don't just write things off just because you don't like it, a deck, or you don't agree with it. Like definitely just play all of it. Yeah. And if you don't like it, that's one thing, right? But like just to write something off just because it doesn't look like what your cup of tea, like that's not how you grow, right?
Right.
And get better.
And you also get better
So.
by playing the other decks and learning like what puts them in tough positions and learning their weak point. And it helps you read opponents' hands better when you fully understand their deck and
100%.
when they don't have the plan A game. I tell people that all the time too. And
100%.
yeah, I tell that to a lot of one trick decks people. I was like, I understand you want to play this deck, like, but at least like put games on like into testing with the other decks just so you can understand like the weaker lines and stuff, because it just gives you so much information of when they don't of what they have and what they don't have.
Yeah, you make a good point. Remember back in set 3?
Yeah.
And you were playing red blue, and you loved to face my deck, the purple steel deck.
I hated it. I had a 0%. I had a 0% win rate, but I played against it in Atlanta, and I won both games with him at 19 lore, and we went to time, and I missed the lunch break. And and those were my only 2 purple steel wins on red blue. I strung together 2 games in a row, and I was like, oh,
you won when it mattered, right?
Yeah, today's our day. Yeah.
But like to your point though, like in order to beat your deck, to beat red blue at the time, I had to actually play it to figure out how to beat it, where the weak points are, where you can attack it, right?
Right.
So I like it. It's a good advice for everyone, right? Just to play it, get it. Like, you don't have to master every deck. No one's saying that, but to know like what every deck wants to do and like what missing a step looks like and how you can capitalize when deck does A or B.
Yeah, agreed. All right, gang. This has been a special bonus episode of Alter Academy with JDRR. Thank you for coming back, man, and we'll see everybody next week.